In 1940, the Germans converted an existing Polish army barracks into a concentration camp on the outskirts of Auschwitz. They renamed the camp Auschwitz. Thousands of prisoners would pass through that gate each day to perform back-breaking work, and then they would return later in the evening carrying the bodies of the murdered. And just here there would be a camp orchestra which would assemble to play marches while the prisoners filed past. This was to help the prisoners keep in step and make it easier to count them as they went to and from work. So a lot of the barracks have now been converted into permanent exhibitions, and this first one is called Extermination. This is all the sites, the ghettos, the camps and the prisons where Jews and prisoners of other nationalities were deported to Auschwitz. This is the cans that contained Zyklon B, which was the pesticide that was used for killing people in the gas chambers. Now, I have been to Auschwitz twice before, and it's still no less shocking when you walk in this room. Because just on your left hand side you can see the length of the room, how big it is, and just on the left hand side is just basically a huge mountain of human hair. You're not allowed to film there for obvious reasons. This next barrack is called Material Proof of Crimes. It explains this is just some of the belongings that were plundered from the victims of Auschwitz by the SS. So this one contains walking sticks and artificial limbs. So this room contains the suitcases of some of the victims. You can see each one has got the victim's personal detail, name and address on there. It just proves that they were led to believe that they would get them back. Children's shoes. Now when you're looking at the exhibitions in the previous barrack and you see all the shoes and the hair and the glasses, it's on such a scale that the numbers are just too big. And this one makes you realise that for each of those pairs of shoes, that was a life. This is what a prisoner's room would look like at the start of the camp's existence. So there were no no beds or anything. People would just have to sleep on the floor on straw. These were the prisoners' lavatories. These were installed later because there were so many people in the barracks at any one time. They very rarely got a chance to use them, and the guards would often tease the prisoners by not giving them enough time to relieve themselves. And again, a washroom, but more often than not the prisoners wouldn't get a chance to use them. In two upstairs rooms of Block 10, female prisoners were experimented on. They were used as human guinea pigs for sterilisation experiments. Some died immediately from the treatment they were given. Others were murdered. This is what's known as the death wall, and this is where thousands of people were shot, mainly Polish political prisoners. There are also two of these posts, which was a form of punishment by the Nazis, where they would tie the prisoner's hands behind his back and then hang him from this post so that his feet don't touch the ground. Leave the prisoner in excruciating pain. Block number 11 is known as the death block. It was used as the camp prison. People were sent here to be starved to death, and it was also the first time that the Nazis experimented with Zyklon B. It was used in the basements and killed 600 Soviet prisoners and 250 Polish prisoners. So this is the washroom where women prisoners would be stripped and then they would be led out of here. This is where the men prisoners would be stripped and led out and forced to stand at the death wall. So this was part of the camp hospital blocks, and prisoners used to call it the crematorium waiting room. This gives you an example here. People were sent here who suffered from infectious diseases, and they were basically killed by lethal injection into the heart. On one particular occasion, 121 Polish and Jewish boys were killed in this room, and their bodies were then stored in here and then sent to the crematorium. 121 boys' bodies. These are all pictures of children, French children, who were sent to Auschwitz and killed. This is where the roll call would take place. So every single day, all the prisoners had to assemble here for roll call. And if the SS sergeant in charge wasn't satisfied, the roll call would just go on and on and on, sometimes for over 12 hours, regardless of the weather. Imagine just being stood here for 12 hours every day. And to intimidate the prisoners, public hangings would take place during roll call. On one particular occasion, 12 Polish prisoners were hung because some of their inmates had escaped. And this is them. So after the war, the first commandant of Auschwitz, Rudolf Höss, was tried and sentenced to death. He was hung here on the 16th of April 1947. So this used to be used as a morgue and a crematorium to dispose of the bodies of the prisoners that were killed or died in the Auschwitz camp. From 1941, it was used as a gas chamber. This is where they put the Zyklon B canisters in. By 1941, as the ghettos and concentration camps across Europe became overcrowded, it became clear that the Nazis needed to build another camp. Auschwitz II Birkenau was built to hold 100,000 people at a time. It had 4 gas chambers. The Nazis were already planning to exterminate all of Europe's Jews.